I wanted to come on to the thing that everyone's been going through this year, which is COVID. And as you know, and it's affected many, industries, but I think particularly the restaurant business, especially at the beginning, and I know you were on the panel for the, what was it? Sorry, for the Cater Middle East conference. You were involved in that. So I was curious, and I listened to what you said about how for the first few months you guys took salary cuts, but everyone else, all the employees got paid, but the heads are the ones who took it on them to make sure everyone gets paid and so on, and then you reduced the amount of people because you needed, you can only bring back half the staff and so on. But I'm sure you'll explain the story in a second. But what I wanted to understand from that conference, what was the biggest takeaway that you took from having those discussions with all those people?
So, yeah, so that's initially what we did when we went into lockdown. We obviously had no idea how long we're going to be shut for, what would be the next steps, how we're going to reopen. So that was I think the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
We didn't let anyone go. We kept anyone on our payroll. We tried, obviously, within the period of lockdown, to pay everyone at least their vacation days. On the second month, so the first month everyone got paid their full salaries. The second month, everyone got, depending on their obviously level within their salaries, they got paid certain number of days to obviously just keep everyone sort of afloat. And then when we came back, obviously everyone came back on a salary cut, again based on position, based on salary. Certain people obviously got more the higher you are. And then when we came back, we obviously didn't know how things are going to go and for how long. So it was all about paying back suppliers. It was all about keeping the lights on, and it was all about giving back people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
That was what it's all about.
Yeah.
So we were very transparent with everyone. We told everyone that, listen, we just came back into operation. So we were going to split everything we collect into thirds. 1/3 to keep the lights on again, 1/3 to pay suppliers and to pay back everything that we owe from before lockdown, and obviously pay salaries of everyone.
Yeah.
And we did. And we were able to do that within 2 months. So within 2 months, we restructured that small little debt that we owed. We paid everything out. And we were lucky in the fact that things bounced back quite hard, but now they've obviously come down again. And I think those first 3 months, and that's shared with a lot of people in the industry, is that, people were happy just to go out again. Yes, there were a lot of restrictions, but that was offset by perhaps slightly higher spending that we've seen than before. Things have gone down again now, and I think this is going to be the new norm, if you like.
Yeah.
Is that we're going to be operating under very strict low capacities. People are still going to be scared. People are not going to be able to make big decisions. We rely a lot on corporates here in the IFC. We've seen a lot of our regular companies, regular guests, shift offices. Obviously, everyone's working from home.
Yeah.
Some people have been repatriated back to their home countries. So that's a big challenge. But I think, going back to your question regarding that specific conference and what, I think more than ever, even during lockdown, the industry has come together in a way that we've never seen before.
Okay.
And it's still very fragmented because obviously the industry is built by, a huge number of operators from different backgrounds, operating different style of restaurants, different style of service. But obviously there's a lot more common than there isn't between all of these. And an industry came together in a really, really beautiful way. And if there is something that we wanted to take away or leave people with, is how difficult it is to operate in this industry. And perhaps, people who think in a binary way or in a very simplistic view of the industry, that it being, like I said before, similar to a retail space, or the people who approach us saying, why do you charge so much for a cup of coffee when the cost to you is 2 dirhams or whatever it is, or 3 dirhams? So, for people to understand what goes in the background is something that we were never good at showing, because obviously we're here to serve people. We're here to make sure that when the people approach us, people want to escape to a different, they don't want to cook at home.
Yeah.
First and foremost, they want to come out and be served,
Yeah.
right? And that's what restaurants are here for.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that is obviously executed correctly. But also, I think we're one of the industries that was hit the hardest.
Probably,
Obviously, there's
yeah.
a lot more industries. There are other industries that are hit very, very bad. But we're definitely one of them. Because as you can see in many parts of the world, they're into another lockdown, and there is no way for small businesses to be able to sustain this. It's very difficult. It's very hard, and I hope that was one of the things that we left people with.
Yeah, no, I think you said it like so right, that it's interesting how everything came together, and like this crisis kind of lifted the curtain on how difficult this industry is and how much goes on behind the scenes. That me as a guest, I come in, I have good food, whatever. I'm like, okay, it's great, and that's I leave. I don't think more of it. But now I think there's a much better understanding of how much goes into it. So moving forward, do you think? Well, hopefully there's not another COVID in the future. But do you think now moving forward, restaurants have to have some type of contingency plan in place for like something like this, like? Boca is the restaurant, but we also have like a delivery arm that might need to start like coming into play into that to offset, any potential like negatives in the future.
For sure. There's a lot of talk about obviously expanding into things that would help you to survive.
Yeah.
For example, we never had delivery. We've had delivery before, but we never really relied on it. It was just an extra additional thing, so we put some work and effort into that. It still needs obviously a lot of work. That marketplace is also saturated and has a certain it's driven by different elements. What we provide here is an experience, when people come out, is what you talk to obviously the guys on the floor, and you get the certain style of food. It's slightly, I wouldn't say ceremonial, but it's more really of like an event, something you go to. So to have that delivery model that would translate that directly will not work, because you will have maybe an order by a guest who really likes our food once a week. So you're really relying on that occasional, rare one-off dinner that they want to maybe have with their friends, or so that doesn't work. And that's why that's why when we reopened, we almost rebranded.
Okay.
We thought, okay, we're going back. We don't know how people are going to perceive dining out anymore. Surely we cannot talk about some of the slightly more complex ideas or elaborate dishes. We need to go back with a very simple approach.
Yeah.
And what better way than to go back to the original ethos of Boca, which were tapas. Simple, straightforward Spanish tapas. And that's why we reopened, we branded with something called La Taperia, something that we worked on during the lockdown. We created a totally different brand, almost an alter ego. We even created a fictional chef and a story behind that. So that was it. So it was all about the basic tapas that you will see in anywhere in Spain. Obviously, we reduced the prices. We started offering half portions. There was a lot of talk in the industry of people not wanting to share food anymore. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but we still had an option, because tapas works that way.
Yeah,
you can order like half a portion and not share it and have it on your own. So that was something we reopened. We saw slightly larger traction, but again, it still needs obviously a lot of work. But one other thing that is really important is the level of exposures and the thin, what is the word? Your reserves in terms of cash. A lot of, and this is not just common in the industry, I think this is common across all small, medium businesses in the country, is that the reserve levels are not there to sustain you for more than 2 months, 3 months, right? Yeah. So you get hit with a lockdown.
That cash flow runs out.
That could take you out.
Yeah,
definitely take you out. And I wonder how many more restaurants are gonna close, because situation is still difficult.
Yeah.
Things are still extremely slim. I hope not, but that exposed a lot of that. That definitely exposed a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think what you said is great advice, that moving forward you need to have that, I guess, that insight or some kind of creative way to start, pivoting, and maybe different kind of revenue streams that fall under the same for the restaurant, but just so that if there's less people in, you can shift it that way. But like you said, the delivery thing is driven by different elements. Like if I wanted to eat from Boca, I'd rather come here. I wouldn't really necessarily want to order it. Now just because of the quality of food, it's just because you want the experience and you want all that together.